What is magic? Is it voodoo, a trick, a con? Magicians are problem solvers. We think of an idea like making a coin vanish. Then we come up with all the ways it can be done. Maybe it goes up my sleeve. Maybe when you weren't paying attention, I tossed it on top of my head. What are all the angles that make it more impressive to an audience member? These are all problems in a magician's mind, yet we solve them. And in doing so, we create the impossible. Now, these magic acts aren't solely for stage. A change in perspective can open doors to places you never thought existed. I should know. I grew up without magic. When I was a kid, I had an abusive father. And I remember there were times where my parents would be arguing in a locked room, and I'd hear my mom screaming and yelling from the other end. And I was afraid that I couldn't save her. And one night, he busted my lip. And as my mom attended to my wounds, she said, "I'm sorry that this happened, but there is a man that loves and cares about you very much." She then took out a picture of a man in an orange jumpsuit and said the words, "This is your real father." My reality was shattered because I was led to believe that the man that raised and abused me was my father. A year later, I met my real father in prison, and I remember seeing an ATM, a police officer behind glass, and a metal detector. My mom trailed behind me. We walked into the room, and I met my real father. As I sat with him, I remember him showing me two tricks. And there was one in particular where he took a coin and pushed it through a solid table. And I thought to myself, wait, what? That's impossible. In that moment, magic called me. I picked up and I haven't put it down since. Magic became a diversion, a mission, and a passion. I wish I could say that this was the last of my struggles, but it was only the beginning. Because I was lied to at a young age, I held hate and rage in my heart. It led me to run away, and I found myself in a children's home called Webster House, where I lived off and on from the ages 14 to 18. And while all of this was going on, I was still performing magic. I was performing on the streets of Manchester, New Hampshire, every Friday and Saturday night, hoping to be tipped for my efforts, because I had a phone bill to pay. I've always tried to take someone out of their own reality and into one where they weren't alone and that they could be anything that they wished to be. I wanted to be for others the person I needed growing up. And in my search to find that person, I found myself in California. I had the opportunity of performing at the Magic Castle strolling competition, which essentially is just speed dating, but for magicians. So there was a table of 20, there were 20 tables with different judges, and there were 30 competitors, and a few people there just looking for a good show. And the rules of the competition is you have to do as many tables as possible, showing your best magic tricks in hopes of winning first place in an hour. But here was my problem. I had a mentor who convinced me that I wasn't good enough. And I was conned into believing that it was true. So I didn't practice, I didn't sign up, and I had every intention of backing out. But there was this flicker that told me to show up anyway. So on the night of the competition, a few of my friends peer pressured me into entering into the competition, and so I did. But I couldn't help but thinking that I was this scared, lonely kid that came from nothing. I didn't give up. I looked in my pockets to see what I had. A deck of cards, 3 coins, and a Sharpie. I went up to my first table. I took a breath in and said to myself, it's showtime. I went from table to table doing all the tricks that I knew, making coins disappear, doing card tricks, making my ring jump from fingertip to fingertip, my biggest hits. And out the corner of my eye, I remember seeing impossible magic acts. I'm talking international magicians making vases appear out of thin air, making decks of cards turn into solid glass, bringing dolls to life. How could I compare? I couldn't. But when I focused on the magic in front of me, my mind shifted. And there was a flicker this time, but it told me that I might actually be able to win this thing. And even though I didn't win first place, I did win the next best thing. I want you to put yourself in my shoes. Being told that I wasn't good enough, being told that I was a loser, and that the world was better if I wasn't in it. This was my reality, and one that I had to find a way out of. Winning second place, doing something that I didn't think was possible, was enough. I have known struggle my whole life, but I've also experienced magic in my life. That night, I became an award-winning magician. I have performed in cities across the country, including Hollywood and Hollywood and Las Vegas. I'm a consultant that works with programs that assist at-risk youth, and now I'm here. I didn't want to just disappear. When times were tough, I persevered, and I never gave up. Statistically, I should be in jail, on drugs, or dead. Magic saved my life through hard work, beyond the box thinking, and perseverance. One of my least favorite, but also my favorite part of my job is I don't get the luxury of saying to my clients, oh, I can't do that. For me, can't is not the end. It's the beginning. And it can be the beginning for you too. You can think like a magician in your everyday life. Imagine what the world would look like if we all believed in magic. Now, I'm not talking about you levitating or doing a card trick. I'm talking about you going for that promotion you've been working so hard for. I'm talking about you asking that person out on a date. You know the one. I'm talking about you doing the things that you think are out of reach, but I promise you they aren't. Next time you doubt yourself or think to yourself, I can't do that, I don't deserve that opportunity, or that'll never work, I want you to think like a magician. What can I do to earn that opportunity? What if it does work? What are all the positive and negative outcomes of this working, instead of dismissing it altogether? We can accomplish so much if we just allow ourselves the chance to. How do we start thinking this way? I can only share with you the 3 things that have worked for me. Believe that there is a way, search for a way to do it, and never give up. So, let's go back to the beginning. What is magic? Is it voodoo, a trick, a con? Or is it belief, truth, hope? No matter your race, financial situation, or your career path, everything we need to succeed is already within each and every one of us. You don't need to be a magician to be magical. The world is your stage, so go give it your best performance. Thank you.